I have a 15-year-old student whose sister recently committed suicide and since shared with me that she may well has not be around as her grief-stricken parents are so consumed by everything and that she wishes she were gone too. She goes on to say she had a failed attempt with a drug overdose. Please discuss the following scenario and consider both duty of care aspects and teaching consideration strategies with respect to the student.
I suppose now we're actually dealing with a student who is at high risk and has disclosed that they have been putting their life at risk, and we know that there are other precipitating factors or things that are predisposing this person to be more high at risk. So as a classroom teacher, they obviously cannot keep this confidential. So they would have a duty of care to actually consult with the psychologist or the deputy, depending on who's on staff at the moment at that point. But definitely that scenario would need to be addressed and not be kept between the teacher and the student. That would be my initial thing to have.
Yeah, any concern about suicide or mention of suicide at all by a student needs to be taken very seriously. And it needs to be addressed really quickly with someone like Pauline said, a psychologist or a deputy or the principal if there isn't anyone else on staff. It's an immediate issue for the day. And then they will follow up. And like Pauline mentioned, the confidentiality, there's no confidentiality around suicide with students. So there's no, you can't promise to keep it a secret or promise that you won't pass on information like that, and that student sounds like a high risk student.
Definitely. So I suppose then, obviously the school side would hopefully be involved in that situation to be able to make that call to the parent or the deputy in that situation, so that the situation could be followed up to find out whether they're involved with CAMS or another agency or whether hospitalisation is needed. But definitely the parent would need to be a part of that process, and the student informed about why we have to break confidentiality and the level of risk, so that it's all about safety here, and this kid's clearly not safe.
Yeah, very unsafe. And teaching strategies in the classroom, same thing as the previous one. You need to be really sensitive to the curriculum when that student re-enters the classroom. Anything around suicide, self-harm, in any text or media that you're showing the class needs to be edited, or the student needs to be explained to and given the option not to watch it.
Yeah.
Or read it.
And I suppose my other experience with situations like this is whether the student has told someone, and whether there's a bit of a, not so much gossip, but chat amongst peers around what is happening with the student. So really just for the teacher to be mindful of that and to manage that in some way, keeping obviously this particular person's information confidential with other students. But like, I suppose what I'm saying is just be mindful that if there is chat going on, that it is managed, and the person of interest here, that they feel safe on re-entering back at school.
Sorry, I'm just going to add one more thing as well. I just thought it's really important for teachers to look after themselves as well. So in a situation like this, teachers may also be impacted and feel quite distressed by a student disclosing such information. So it's really important that your duty of care is also to look after yourself, and you need to just consider that, and you may need just some help from the psychologist, just some ideas about how to relate to that student when they re-enter the classroom.
Yeah.